Hey everyone, we are live. Welcome to the Girlfriend Doctor Live. And today we're going to just talk about how easy it is to be a single mom. Right, Ava? Where'd you go?
Come here.
Come here.
Yeah.
Come here. So how easy is it? How easy is it to be raised with me here? To be
Not the easiest.
not the easiest? What are you talking about?
Well, it's like.
How's homeschooling going? Are you loving it?
I like not waking up early.
And anything else?
I like not having to go to school.
Okay, well, we are loving homeschooling. So thank you. Thank you, Ava Marie. All right. So this is the reality. Working, children at home, doing, wearing multiple hats in the same room now without actually having to go anywhere. We've got this, we're getting this figured out. And I wrote a story, and I'm going to post this in the chat box right here. I wrote this story a while back about my life as a single mom. So I'll share it real quickly, but I remember, like I always say, my Monday morning, in my dreams was waking up, preparing wholesome breakfast, everyone sitting down to eat, and all this love fest, sending them off to school and saying, oh my gosh, I love you, Mom, as I kiss them on their cheek as they go out the door on time and ready. And then that's my fantasy life. That is totally, and still is, my fantasy life. But the reality was, like I always joke, I said, boiled water, it serves three purposes, hot tea or coffee, boiling an egg, and making oatmeal. I mean, just from one pot, like make life quick and simple, and then eating or drinking a smoothie on the way out the door, and what life looks like. So I would like to introduce my community. Thank you guys for coming on wherever you're watching from, on YouTube. Cheryl's watching on Facebook. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. I want to share with you just some really important tips now during quarantine, during this transition time we are out for the rest of the year, homeschooling our children. School's not going back in session. And what are some of the challenges that we're dealing with at home? And I certainly remember to that stage of even post hurricanes and homeschooling and being a single mom and getting kids off to school and working, running a business, being the sole provider for my family, and how being a single mom was certainly the most challenging, and is today the most challenging role I've ever had. But it is the most rewarding role I've ever had in my life. So introducing to my audience, Amber Trueblood. Amber, how great it is for you to join us today.
I'm so excited to be here and meet all of your community. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, it is great to meet you too, and see you and talk with you and to share your wisdom. We were just on a podcast, you guys, stay tuned and definitely be subscribed to the Girlfriend Doctor podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Addict. That's where I listen, and subscribe to the Girlfriend Doctor podcast. The conversation that we just had with Amber was fabulous, and kind of just want you to share a little bit. We were talking about your journey on the road for 16 months on tour with one of your children, who was in a Broadway show for 16 months on the road. Husband, you, 4 boys, and the skill set that you created from that. And I put in the chat box here that Amber is also the author of the best-selling book, Stretch Marks, a fun book, a great gifting book for Mother's Day, certainly, and for yourself. It really is so well written, so many pearls. Fabulous.
And if you're still somewhere where you can take walks or put in earphones while you make dinner or something, I did record the audio book for that too, and it's a light, easy listen, which will hopefully bring maybe a few tears, hopefully more laughs, and then a lot of tools that you can actually use realistically as a human dealing with real life things every single day.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about your journey and then just some of the strategies with, the strategies and skills that you learned on the road.
Well, I was sharing with Anna on the podcast recording that we just did that a couple years ago, we had the unique kind of out of the blue opportunity. My kids all play music, and a friend knew that my oldest did drums. And so she said, oh, there's this Andrew Lloyd Webber musical called School of Rock that's looking for a drummer, and they want not necessarily actor kids first. They want like musician kids that can also then act and sing. And we didn't know. We figured he could act like actor like my kids. Anyway, we got the singing part. But one thing led to another, and we found ourselves 6 months later, all six of us rather, on the road, traveling with this musical all over the US and Canada. And 6 months turned into 6 more months, and then 4 more months. And then I don't know if I even mentioned this, but my 10-year-old joined the cast the last 4 months, and he plays piano. So he joined. So then we had 2 of them and they do like 8 shows a week. Like it's full on like Broadway musical. It's life. And the community that we formed there, because it's a whole group of like 100 people, cast and crew and other parents traveling together for that length of time. So we really bonded, and they've become, some of my closest friends ever. And, they'll be in my life forever. But because of that tour, we got some really unique opportunities to ask us, like, what education means, like, what do we think is important for our kids to learn? Like, what values, activities do we want them to spend their time doing? Like, what do we want them to get out of this? And I think that is one of the points that's really valuable right now in the situation that most of us are in at home. Taking a step back and asking yourself, okay, my kid's not going back to regular school this year. What's important to me? What's important to our family? What tools? What do I want them to learn and know, come next year? Because nobody, we talked about this, like nobody's going to be behind. Really, I believe that. Everybody's going to have completely different experiences over these next 6 months. So if and when school starts again in the fall, they're going to have, the teachers are going to, I saw a blog post going around from a teacher that said, we've got you. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, we will make sure that everybody has what they need starting next year. They're not going to have some tests the first day and half the people are going to be kicked out because you didn't do question 4 from paragraph 2 of unit 5 on the missions report. Like, it's not going to happen. Sorry, Miss Pierzini, I mentioned the missions report. That's from my 4th grader. So, I love her. She's doing
traumatized.
She's doing an awesome job. But my point is that, we talked about an emotional, kind of like this is an emergency emotional support, protocol that you have to put in place to protect you and your family so that you not only can like barely survive this experience by the skin of your teeth, but like thrive through it. And there's an opportunity for that. So I think really asking yourself what's important and reminding yourself. So when you start to get freaked out about something not happening at a given time or in a certain way, you ask yourself, wait, is this one of the things I said was important to me? If so, then great, reprioritize. If not, let it go. That's going to be a really important tool that will serve you if you're able to allow it and just let it go. But yeah, so we learned that. We also learned how to live together in very small places and how to be efficient and respectful of one another in those times when, there were times we were staying in, we didn't just fit in one hotel room. We'd have to get 2 hotel rooms. And sometimes, they were way down the hall from one another because this one smelled like cigarette smoke. And that one time we were on different floors, other times we'd went rental houses and funky stuff would happen. I mean, every single city was a new adventure. So learning how to go with the flow and remain calm in situations that you can't control was such a gift to learn that. And also realizing, for me, it's always about, being really honest with yourself. So what are your triggers? What things do you know you're going to be crazy? You're going to be frustrated if they don't happen this certain way. So maybe you really like to have the time to cook a proper dinner or to sit all together, or you can't stand when there's laundry piling up on the sofa, or whatever it is, be really honest with yourself about that. I always say, don't delegate something that's a trigger for you, because then that's just an opportunity to be resentful, because that person's not going to probably do it in the time frame or in the way that you want them to do it in. So if it's a trigger for you, especially right now, this is the time to focus on like people's strengths, not say, well, you should really improve on cleaning up this XYZ that you've never been good at before. No. Let's focus everything on the strengths.
Yeah.
So if you have something that's a trigger, take care of it yourself. I'll hide the laundry behind the sofa if I'm not ready to deal with it right then. But I know if it's out all day or for 3 days, it's going to drive me nuts, and I'm going to be grouchy to the people who I love. And that's not serving me or any of them.
I love that. I'm just saying hello to people as they're coming on. Hey, Greg, good to see you guys. And we're talking about, the challenges of parenting. So for moms, dads, and certainly sharing my experience too as a single mom, and where there are so many blessings, but also so many challenges. And I wanted to just even, support my single mom community, because even right now, the financial uncertainty can be challenged, and just kind of spelling out those challenges, Ambers, that people are facing, the transition time, the overwhelm, the financial uncertainty, maybe some anxiety, and a lack of physical and emotional support, and how that can truly affect us.
For sure. And that's why now it's not a luxury. Like self-care right now, emotionally, it's not a luxury. Like it really isn't. It's a necessity. Like it's a vital thing that you have to. It's not just, oh, this would be nice, you should do this for yourself. Take some time in the morning. This is really vital, because your family needs you. You need to maintain your health, and your health is affected by, if you're carrying a huge load of anxiety and it's not letting up, that's affecting your sleep, that's affecting your immune system, that's affecting your metabolism, certainly affecting your mood, and probably how you're treating the people around you, right? So it just has a cascading effect. So maybe if you think of it like, oh, you're not doing it for yourself, because often we're able to do things for other people that we won't do for ourselves, right? Especially single moms, I would argue.
Sad but true.
So trick yourself into it. Do it for everybody else around you, because it's true. It's true. You're really doing it for everybody. So finding the things that, be really honest with yourself about what will serve you. Okay. So just because this person is going for a 2-mile run every day, that doesn't mean that's what's going to work for you or logistically fit into your life right now. So being really honest about what types of things, and this might be taking a moment, writing down, what are the 2 or 3 things that refill your emotional bank account, so to speak? What can you do that leaves you feeling happy, calm, and has a lasting effect? Maybe not for the whole rest of the day, but a few hours. So if 20 minutes in the bath with a good book, carving out that time is going to be critical. Maybe it's making dinner with everybody there. Maybe it's doing something completely alone for an hour, whatever it is that serves you. I like to dance to hip hop music. And so I, found this place. Actually, I found them in when we were in Toronto last year, and I got really depressed in Toronto, and I'd never dealt with depression before, but it was cloudy. There was 0 sun for 6 weeks, and I about lost my mind. But I did find a dance studio there, and they're one of the businesses that got right on. They just got right on board with virtual stuff right away as soon as this quarantine hit. And I had an email from them, and it said, hey, join our waiting list. We're doing live virtual classes. Here it is, boom, boom, boom. And I did it, and I signed up. But I still have to remind myself, like, oh, I didn't do that. I did it a few days ago, but I haven't done it recently. So really being honest with yourself about what types of activities refuel you. And then not only fighting for those, but communicating them to the people we're living with and why it's important. Because you're modeling that for them. You're modeling good self-care. So they're learning by watching you what you're doing, okay? So if you really think that it's valuable to invest in your emotional self-care, then wouldn't you also agree that it's valuable to model that to your children too, right? So you're teaching them, And you're teaching them, hey, identify what works for you. Maybe for you, it's something different. Maybe for you, it's a phone call with an old friend, you know? So prioritizing it, being honest with yourself about what kind, go ahead.
I want to emphasize what you said, modeling for our children.
Mhm.
If like, and we can see that at different aspects of our life, and I certainly see it played out. But if we are constantly doing for others, it's all a gifting, right? We are constantly working, we're wearing all our hats, and we're never putting on our own oxygen mask, so to speak. Like we're not doing the self-care, that modeling self-care. And then we can see our young adult daughter burning the candle at both ends, not investing in self-care, constantly working, really hard, or working out hard, working hard, running, in this high type A stress personality. And that is a surprise all of a sudden. And I have a colleague and friend that is just so upset about it. And I said, the best thing you can do for her right now is take care of yourself, right? And that is the truth. The best thing we can do for our children right now is take care of ourselves. And as we get grounded, as we experience that peace, that flows into our children around us. Until I learned that, I was in this chaos. I experienced that chaos. I continued to spiral down. Every conversation was a fight until, like we talked about earlier in our podcast, resentment is lack of self-care. Resentment is lack of self-care. And in that sense, like we're a struggle, when life's a struggle, it is often about simplifying. It's more of letting go and focusing on what is critically important. And typically that is our relationship. But it starts with, and I love how you say this, just how important it is to do. And it's not necessarily the massage, the facial, it's just taking some deep breaths, taking the alone time that you mentioned. For me, it's taking a bath in the evening. Ooh, that is bliss. And I have to leave. I have to do a better practice of leaving the phone outside, or talking to a good friend while I'm in the bath, doing something like that, but not working. That is my time to shut down. Let's see. Cheryl wrote here. How have you both worked out busy? Well, now Amber is married. I am divorced. She says, so Cheryl's asking, how have both of you worked out visitation with your exes? I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with this. And that daughter is grown up now. I had a very difficult ex. Well, you are not alone, Cheryl. First of all, thank you for typing in, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with us. For me, it's certainly been one of the most challenging relationships in my life. And I think that, again, I remember a couple things. Cream rises, dust settles. I think that's really a good quote someone shared with me one time. Just keep doing what's right. Do what's right for you. Cream rises, dust settles. And always just being honest, authentic, never throwing anyone else under the bus. And, having good, clean communication. And how did you say that? Emergency emotional management. We'll have to talk about that, Amber. We came up with a term, emergency emotional management, Amber's term for I think where this really can apply.
Yeah. The other thing too, so I grew up the single daughter of a single mother, and my husband too. And now we have 4 boys together. But I think that coming from the child perspective too, just know that kids are so much more resilient than we believe. And, parenting is my passion in a big way, and sharing parenting tools and tips and helping parents to trust themselves so that they can then be the kind of parents that they want to be. But also know, bottom line, that kids are really resilient. And often we blame ourselves for things that our kids are experiencing, and they would be experiencing them whether or not there was a divorce or a custody battle happening, a lot more often than you would lead yourself to believe. So often it comes back to being kind to yourself and realizing, is that guilt and frustration really serving you and your kids, carrying that? Because there's only so much we can control, right? So like you were saying, if you can focus in on the moment of what you value right now and what's going well, then that will, I think, serve you, your mental health, and also even serve your relationship, because focusing in on It's so easy to do. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to like, oh, just focus on the positive with your ex, but you could focus on the fact that he's not living with you in your house right now. Imagine that for a moment. And I have heard there's people like that who are going through a divorce, hadn't told the children yet, and now they're quarantined together. Imagine that. So if that helps at all to kind of think, holy mackerel, well, at least that's not happening.
I tell you, again, looking for the silver linings whenever we can, but also one of the things with emergency emotional management that I like about what you said too, is that communication, appreciation with communication. And regardless of the situation, regardless of the animosity, especially when it comes to our self-care, when we are both appreciative and communicative and with respect, no matter what, we can treat each other with respect, no matter what. It's that cream rises, dust settle, taking the high road and acting in that, because we'll never regret that, honestly.
There's one tip too with appreciation that you might not hear often. And I love it because I like to ask people to focus on something really specific and even like that might sound not important that you appreciate. So because it has more meaning. So if you say like, oh, thank you for feeding the kids this weekend and keeping them safe or whatever, thanks for dropping them off on time. That's one thing. But if you can get really specific, like, oh, it was really cool that you took Sarah and got her those shoes that she was thinking about and talking about. Like, I really appreciated that. If you can be really specific and authentic, obviously it has to come from an authentic place because people smell that a mile away if it's not. But if you can be more specific, then it shows that you're paying attention. You really are paying attention in a good way, that you are focusing on the things, you're noticing something that they did. And it's far more likely that they will behave similarly in the future when you do that. So I'm not saying you do it specifically to manipulate them to be kinder to you, but I guarantee you that's what will start happening the more you can refocus your energy. And if you find yourself really spiraling in negativity, which can happen to all of us often, especially in these kind of uncertain times and anxious times, really finding ways to purposefully create that shift from resentment to appreciation. So it might be, a gratitude app. There's like a 5-minute gratitude journal app. There's, you can just have a journal, you can buy the Be Truly You journal and write every day 3 things that you're grateful for. And again, the more specific you get, the better. At dinner time, you can have a grateful, we call it saying your gratefuls. And again, instead of just saying, oh, I'm so grateful that everybody I love is healthy and happy. But if you say, wow, I'm so grateful that grandma is, didn't have to go to urgent care, even though she was having respiratory issues, and now she's getting better. And we got to have a Zoom call with her today. And I'm so grateful that she's doing well. That's way different. Can you see that? So the more, and it has an impact on us in a far deeper way, okay, than when you just say, oh, I'm so grateful everybody's happy. I'm so grateful like we could pay our mortgage this month. I'm so grateful. That's just kind of running without feeling. So the more specific you can get, the more likely you are to elicit those like the emotions that are associated with being grateful. And that's where it has like a really magical impact.
Yeah, no, I love that, being specific, being detailed, and expressing how, too, it made you feel. So one of our Facebook readers said, so good to see you again. Thank you for being a continual presence. Dr. Anna Kabeka, I've been rather isolated without strong internet, and you're a balm in these times of uncertainty. I am here for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'm here for you. I want to let you know that. Jean wrote in, my single mom never had any fun, and God bless her, she was a wreck, scared of it all, and very crabby out of fear and frustration. So especially take time, single moms. I was guilty of not taking time for myself being married, but I did have someone else, but so very critical for everyone. Fun is a prescription for all, according to Dr. Anna, and it really works. In today's life, hook up on a girlfriend Zoom and have a glass of wine or tea and just laugh. Your girlfriends will love you for it. Thank you, Jean. Oh my gosh. That is great. That is great advice. And I think that's really important too. I am the first in my family to divorce, and it was all new to me. I wasn't, had no way to navigate, and having the burden of responsibility of all the financial responsibility and education responsibility, and it was there again, so many challenges, and it was really overwhelming until I learned this, that when we are in our best health mentally. There we go. Sorry about that. When we are in our best health, we are able to best take care of others. And that just, especially as a mom, that our, like whatever this, magic energy is, that this flows through us, the clarity and groundedness of our energy versus frazzled, afraid, frightened, fearful, scarcity mentality. When we are the abundant mentality, living with life, kindness, respect, and as we often do it as a practice for ourselves, it flows into everyone else around us. So thanks, Jean. Thanks for that reminder, and thanks for sharing that. And you're an amazing, amazing woman.
And I have a point to make, because I feel like a lot of women say, I'm so overwhelmed already. There's literally not a second in my day. And how can I add something into my life? And I remember feeling that same way. My husband used to travel a lot for work. So when I had 4 little ones, he either had 15-hour days or he was, on a movie set, and they have very long hours. And so I remember thinking that very thing. And then I got to a point, as we often do before we make a change in our life, that I just thought, well, something has to change, because I can't keep doing this. It's not working. It's not working. Like, I'm just going to fall into a puddle on the floor and melt. And I can't. I got to hold it together for these people. So that's when I actually went. Well, I'll share a little story. So I took my 2 older boys to a dance class, and it was really cute. And they did this little hip hop dance class. And I came home and I was showing the video to my husband. And in it, you could also see my reflection in the glass, because it was like through a glass that I was taking the video. And in the glass, the reflection was my face, like this, like the biggest, goofiest smile. And I thought, it just hit me. And I thought, I need to do more things that make my face look like that. And so I found, because I don't do anything kind of half, what. And so I found the best dance studio in Hollywood. And I found a dance class that I could get to in the middle of the day and then get back to while the kids were in preschool, and twice a week. And I started doing that. And I felt silly, and I felt I was way older than everybody else there. And I hadn't danced for over 20 years. And, but it gave me so much joy that all of the other things in my day that I thought were so annoying and tedious, and I really, really didn't like doing them, all of a sudden had lost their power. They weren't, zeros and ones and twos on my, like to-do list. They became 5s. I didn't all of a sudden love making dinner. I didn't all of a sudden love making lunches, but they didn't drain me like they had before. So what I learned was adding something that's an 8, 9, or 10, as far as enjoyment and value in your life, adding something 8, 9, or 10 rated to your day, then all of a sudden lifts all of the 1s and 2s up, which then gives you more energy for everything else. And you've probably experienced this. You come off of a great conversation with somebody, and then you just whip into the next part of your day with that energy bubbling over. And so I found that adding something that I loved gave me more energy and allowed me to do more things than I was able to do before, when I thought there was literally not a second extra in the day that I had to give. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's perfect. I love it. And Deborah wrote in from YouTube. She said, we all need self-care, whether we are single or not. I need to dance too. Yeah. I love it. I love dancing. Amber, you created a free gift for our audience. Can you share about that and where we get that?
Yeah, if you just log on to freegiftformoms.com, /COVID. And then I'll email you some special tips and hopefully some additional helpful things that can just lighten your load and allow you to really, take responsibility for your own self-care as a way to help and serve everybody around you who you love so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know that we're facing challenge and excitement. Again, the most rewarding when we just can focus on that priority and that emergency emotional management, emergency emotional response. I love it. I love it. All right, you guys. So I put in here in the chat box, free gift for moms.com/COVID. That is the gift from Amber for you. So you can see that here. And be sure to take a look at that and get that just amazing resource. Plus, her book is called Stretch Marks, and that is available at Amazon, audiobook. It is available in Kindle, right? Because I bought it in Kindle. And everywhere books are sold. So Stretch Marks, and then your website, ambertrueblood.com. So Jane wrote in here, let's see, I know you are targeting single moms, but you realize what your suggestions apply to everyone. It sounds like increasing oxytocin. Absolutely, Jane. I mean, these skills, and I just think too, big shout out to single moms out there. I mean, I was, working mom, working 2 jobs, running 2 businesses, working 70 hours a week. When I became a single mom, it was harder than anything I've ever done. And my respect for single moms and the challenges that, certainly we face are really enormous. There's another energy level when there's, a family household. There is a different energy when you even have some responsibility shared, even though it may seem like you're carrying the weight of the burden. And when everything is on you, whether it's full-time or part-time, there's adjustments that, we make in our self-talk to, our self-talk, how we talk to ourselves, how we think about ourselves, what our standards have been, how we work to communicate and share responsibilities or take all the responsibilities, and what that looks like. And especially in financial crisis, I was at a point where I was near broke and dealing with all the financial responsibilities and thinking, oh my gosh, what if we, the what if game. And I totally like that. What if game has no place in our mind right now. What do I know to be true? In this present moment, we are safe, we are healthy, we are good. We can handle anything that comes to our way. And I think there's this skill set, this learning, these tools that, I wouldn't be here without it, honestly. And certainly a lot pertains to oxytocin, increasing oxytocin. I got to run in a second. Okay, great. Jean put the book here, the link for Amazon. Thank you, Jean. You're amazing. So Stretch Marks. Yes. All right. Thank you, Amber. Some closing words.
Thank you so much. I want everybody to remember to please be kind to yourselves always, but especially right now, and just be honest with yourself about what you need and what's most important to you, because you're a unique person. And everything else, everything that you're stressing about, just ask yourself, is this one of my top 5 things that's important to me right now? And if it is, great. If not, let it go, and you're going to be okay through this.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amber. I appreciate you. Hold on just 1 minute. Thank you, guys. And I want to thank everyone. Reminder, we are doing our book launch giveaway. Don't forget about that. That information's on Facebook. Don't forget, and be kind to yourself, like Amber says. It is so critically important. Thank you all. God bless you. See you tomorrow. I have a special guest coming tomorrow, a dear friend of mine, and just a brilliant, brilliant individual. She's a lot of fun. We have a blast when we're together. It's definitely Girlfriend Doctor live time, 4:30 tomorrow. See you guys then.